You are going to have to be very selective over what you listen to. Why? Because we live in an era where everyone is holding a microphone. So if you go on something like TikTok and scroll through, most of the stuff you're hearing is just general conversation chit chat behind a microphone. Now, the problem with that is time is very limited. And so you've got even shorter amount of time for your periods where you're educating yourself on different subjects. Now, when it comes to OCD, again, that territory is full of the same thing. People holding microphones, talking the usual sort of just conversation chit chat with very little depth. OCD recovery is complex. OCD recovery requires a good understanding of how OCD operates in the chronic severe form, not mild. So most stuff you'll hear, if I was to go on TikTok and type in OCD recovery, OCD, most of the information is very much just a few sentences repeated over and over and over again for mild OCD, leaving thoughts there, deep breathing, not trying to fight off OCD. That's about it. Why? Because most people, one, do not understand OCD very well. That includes most specialists. They usually have an understanding for mild OCD and severe chronic OCD when it's latched to specific themes where ERP exposures get into very well, like, for example, contamination. But that doesn't mean that contamination is people easily get over contamination OCD with exposures. It can be more nuanced. It can be mental contamination. It can be fear of fear. All those areas that then again get missed. So you're going to have to be very selective of what you're listening to so that you're really learning new things, that you're educating yourself. Most things in life, if you want to learn something, you need to learn from somebody who has a much greater knowledge of that particular topic than you currently hold, right? So if I wanted to learn about, say, for example, fitness, bodybuilding, something like that, would I go just to TikTok, just the average microphone holding podcast? No. Why? Because they tend to be sort of light to medium knowledge, just repeated the same phrases. I want to look for someone who's very advanced in that field, and I want to see practical results. I want to see him having results himself or results for others. That's what I'm specifically looking for. Today, podcasts are very fluffy and wishy-washy because usually the people that make them are more interested in social status and being known than practical application and problem-solving ability, because we're living at a time where it's more about how you look rather than what you do. So you need to be really precise about, right, I'm learning this to get this, right? That's the direction you want to go in. This isn't working, I need to look at this. I mean, I spent years just telling myself thoughts are thoughts, loads of mindfulness, meditation, helped take the edge off a bit, but OCD really cut through like a hot knife through butter, because at the core I was so scared of particular scenarios. I had conditional self-acceptance and very, very rigid irrational beliefs keeping me stuck 24/7. So that is not going to be lifted by a very light podcast on what anxiety feels like and how to distance a bit from thoughts when we're talking about mild anxiety or generalized anxiety disorder. It really isn't. It might sound like, yes, I'm included, I'm not left alone, it feels nice to be listened to and to be heard, but no practical application to change my life. So that's what you want to be thinking about. I can't highlight this enough. If you look at anybody in life who's achieved a great deal in a particular area they're trying to work towards, they're usually people that are very, very focused on getting the job done. And when they get to a problem, they look for a solution, right? And if I just went into most OCD and anxiety books and you looked at the main message, it's about the same Very, very light message repeated over and over again, trying to reassure the reader, you are not broken, you've just got anxiety. That's key. You are not broken, right? That is a key message. And it's important to mention that, but not just that over and over and over and over. And that is so key. They need to learn how to get better, how to recover. Okay? That's what it's all about. Right? You don't want a book that's just completely, these are your anxiety symptoms, they're not real. Just over and over and over. It becomes a massive reassurance. Gives you a nice calming effect, feeling at times short-lived, maybe at night when you're really frantically anxious, but then for long-term recovery, zero long-term gain. So you've got to really think about long-term recovery, deeper level of acceptance, breaking down irrational beliefs, stopping the catastrophized cycle, not needing social approval, learning to not accept yourself just based on conditions, and then you will get there.